Welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Sam and I'm outside doing one of my most beloved chores. That's right, I'm feeding the birds. Birding has been a lifelong hobby of mine, for our whole family, in fact. It's one that brings us hours of joy, and I'm just doing my small part to support our local ecosystem. Now, once I make the commitment to start feeding the birds in the winter, it's something I've got to commit to right through until, well, they stop coming to the feeders, or until the bird feeders start to invite some, unwelcome guests, right? Like raccoons. So for me, simply watching the birds, listening to the birds, and taking some pride in knowing not only what kind of bird I'm seeing, but maybe get an insight as to what they're doing. That comes with a little bit of time and practice. One of my favorite little guys, it's the black-capped chickadee. Now, the chickadee, by far the best adapted for my environment. It is the bravest of the little birds. In fact, the black-capped chickadee, the most curious, is the one all the other birds look to make sure that they're safe. So when something changes, when there's something new in the environment, for example, maybe a new branch has fallen and is newly hanging, it'll be the chickadees that come and check it out first. If it's safe enough for the chickadee, then all the other birds will follow. So knowing that, most of the other birds who compete for them will actively allow the chickadees not only to get the food, but also to keep the food. And it's birds like the blue jay, who can often seem like bullies due to their size and colorful nature and their boisterous calls. It looks like they're pushing the chickadees out. And yeah, they're taking their turns. But the blue jay, as a much larger bird, will go out of its way and actively protect their beloved chickadees the way that I do. So what they'll do is when there's a predator, like a hawk or an owl nearby, the black-capped chickadee, despite the numbers that might, don't take the risk, but the blue jays will. So the blue jays will isolate and drive away other bird predators, and they'll call out a warning. So it's in their best interest because the blue jay relies on the black-capped chickadee to help it locate food. Now, the black-capped chickadee is one of the best adapted to a winter environment. So studies have shown that the black-capped chickadee has a very diverse vocabulary, and it does change its habits come winter. But the most incredible thing, the most unique thing, is that the brain size, that's right, the size of its brain can increase by 30%. So the mass, so we're not talking how much brain is being used by the chickadee, it's the size of its brain. It swells and adds another 30%. It adds 30% because in winter, it will find and store up to 100,000 pieces of food. So when I see these black-capped chickadees coming to my feeders, not only are they finding the seed, they're not eating it right away. Many times, especially when food is plentiful or if the weather conditions feel like they might get worse and change, they'll hide it. All right, so they're going to hide it in the bark. They're going to hide it in a cavity. They'll store it, and they remember. Right, so as scientists have studied the black-capped chickadee intensively because, well, they're just so prolific. But unlike other birds, it actually does remember, and it stores its food. It helps other animals out. So other birds will watch, and then yes, a lot of that food gets stolen by not only other chickadees, but those other birds that are welcomed into a small flock of wintering chickadees, like nuthatches and some of the woodpeckers and maybe even the blue jays. And the squirrels are actually watch them too. Now, I see them come to the feeder all the time, but they're not simply seed birds, all right? They are omnivores. They will actively feed on a very diverse diet of insect life, and they'll have to go after berries and nuts as well. Blue jays, they're a little more like carnivorous. They will go after small amphibians and reptiles. They've been known to even eat the eggs of other birds, as well as even mice if they can catch them. So the chickadee is not just feeding off the food that I supply, but it really does help support their needs throughout the winter. So the black-capped chickadee, the brain size grows so it can actively remember. And once the food diversity and range changes, come spring throughout the summer and early fall, its brain actually goes back. It reduces by that 30%. It just simply doesn't need to remember that. So in winter, it needs to remember because food resources are so vital. Brain size increases. That's such an amazing little creature. So brave, so curious, so well adapted. So if you're not in the habit already, try birding. All right, it's amazing pastime. But if you're going to start, you got to continue all winter. Bird seed is not that expensive. What they really do appreciate, though, is a little bit of diversity. So I've got a number of feeders out in my yard, and I've got a number of different seeds to support their dietary needs. But they also like cover. So I don't put the bird feeders way out in the open. They like to have a little bit of cover just for protection, someplace to not only hide, but rest and roost. And someplace safe to get out of the elements, but also to protect themselves from predators. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Go watch some birds. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.